Hi guys, welcome to another episode of AJAWI TV. I'm AJAWI, and for today we'll be touching on a topic that is very, very important. Now, I want you to imagine this. Imagine that you spend $100 million to construct a couple of apartments, right? You're working overseas for a couple of years and you decide that you're going to invest in a couple of apartments. Or imagine if you go to the bank and say to the bank, hey, lend me $100 million. I'm going to construct a couple of apartments, I'm going to sell some and I'm going to pay you back, and then after that I'm going to use those as my investment properties. So those will be bringing in passive income for me and I'll be able to retire nicely and everything will be nice. But then the court comes to you and say, hey, you did not follow the restrictive covenant of this property, and as such I want you to demolish everything, right? So that's what we'll be looking at in this video. So without any further ado, let's get into this. Alright guys, so welcome back. Alright, so before we move any further, I want you to like this video, I want you to share this video, I want you to click the subscribe button. Why? Because that's how you will see more videos just like this one. Alright, so let's get into this. On January the 31st, 2020, the Gleaner aired an article that states that two townhouses and apartments constructed at about over $100 million in the Golden Triangle area of St. Andrew has been ordered to be immediately demolished, right? According to the documents, it states that the restrictive covenant of said property was not adhered to and subsequently breached, right? So you might be wondering what's a restrictive covenant? Why is that so important? And why would the court order you to demolish a building? This is where your building permits come into play, right? What is your building permit, right? The building permit is basically a document that states that you are okay to build a certain type of building within a certain type of area and within certain constraints, right? You get this document from the parish council. So that's why you have the necessary drawings prepared by your architect, architectural technologist, draftsperson, engineer, or who else? Your contractor. In some cases you use your contractors, right? So according to the article, the restrictive covenant was not adhered to, right? Whenever your parish council approves a drawing, right, in some cases they might give you a conditional approval. Well, you might be asking, what's a conditional approval? Now, a conditional approval is where the parish council says to you, hey, we accept your proposal to build, however, in order for you to build, I want you to change X and Y, or seek approval for X and Y. In this case, the parish council stated that the restrictive covenant of the property must be lifted, right? And in order to get your restrictive covenant modified or lifted, let's say modified, you must apply to the court, and the court will make the decision. Now, the court alone doesn't necessarily make the decision. It's based on the area that you're in and the laws that are put in place within that area. Now, if certain properties within that area have certain restrictions, then chances are you might not be able to get those we call it restrictive covenants lifted, right? So that is why it's very important to get your building permit. Now, you might be wondering, what's the process to get a building permit? Now, here's the thing. You will go to either an architect, an architectural technologist, draftsperson to prepare your drawings, right? Now that person will engage an engineer because you need engineering drawings or the structural engineering drawings. You need plumbing and electrical drawings, and you also need the architectural drawings. You need all of those in order for you to be able to get an approval. Once you have all of these sets of drawings prepared and put together, you can now go to the parish council. Now some clients may decide that, hey, I'm going to do that by myself. Some will ask the architect, the architectural technologist, the draftsman, or the contractor. Now it's a very wait a say, I wouldn't say tedious, but it's a process that is very time consuming, and if it is that you don't know what you're doing, then chances are it will become difficult. Now there will be situations where you're going back and forth. If it is that you have a set of drawings that has anything missing from it, from that set, now what I have done over the years is that I've actually created a list basically, right? So whenever I'm doing a drawing, all of these things on that list has to be on this drawing. It's not negotiable, right? It's non-negotiable. Whatever drawings I'm doing, whoever is doing the drawing, everything on that list must be on that drawing. Now the council will take your drawing, you'll print out a set, go to the council, and the council will take your drawings and they will go through it. Okay, tick, 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 tick. He has X and Y, and they're going through to ensure that all the necessary information that are supposed to be on the drawing are actually on the drawing, are presented on the drawing, right? Now, if it is that you're a homeowner and you're doing this by yourself, that means that you're now going to have to go back to your technologist, back to your architect, or back to your contractor to explain to them that, hey, I didn't get approval because of X and Y, and chances are you won't be able to explain it as good. Now, the person will have to go away to do these necessary changes and then come back, give it to you. You're going to have to take time out from work, then go back to the council, hand them another set of drawing that has been printed for them to go through, for them to check again. And chances are, if something else is missing, then what you'll have to do? You'll have to go back, do the process all over again. So it's time consuming, right? So it is very important that whenever you're doing your submittal for a building permit, you ask the person if they will submit it for you. That will eliminate all of that stress on you, the client. That is why we do. That is how we do it, or that is how we practice it, right? So once the council gets the drawing, then it will go through the necessary process within the council. If it is of a certain size, then it will go to the NWA, NEPA, the health department, and one set will stay within the council, and then it will go to meetings. Once it goes to the meeting, then they will approve, or they might not approve based on what the development is, whether it is a single family resident or a multi-family resident. It really depends, right? Now, if it is that you're a single family resident, it might not need to go to NEPA, right? So that's just a basic overview of what happens when you're getting your building permit, right? Now, you might be saying, why is all of this important, right? Might be saying that. Here's why it is important. And this very article is telling you that it is important. When you do not go through this process, right, you will spend a lot of money constructing a building. Not only are you constructing a building that has not been approved, but you're constructing a building that might be ordered to be demolished. You might get a stop order, right? No, and I've seen it more than one time. This is one of them, right? Where you breach the covenant of the property. In some areas, the covenant might say you're not supposed to build more than a single story. So you cannot build a second floor on your property. You can only expand left, right, back, and front, right? In some areas, it is going to tell you that, hey, you cannot build up to 10 feet towards the front boundary or 15 feet from the center line of the road, right? You as the homeowner will not know this. 90% of the time when people have titles, they look at the title as, hey, this says that I have possession of this property. That's what the title means to the homeowner. But to the technologist, to the architect, this piece of document is very important, and it will actually give information as it relates to what can be built, how it can be built, where it can be built, and in what parameters you can build, right? So your title might say, hey, you can build a multifamily residence, however, you cannot go up. Or you can add on to the property, however, you cannot change the front of the property. And this is what happens within in a lot of gated communities, right? So this is why it is very important to get your building permit, right? So why, let me just say why you need a building permit is simply because it will save you money. That's the simplest part of it. Now this gentleman, Mr. Lin, according to the article, spent $100 million building a couple of apartments, right? He spent that. The article went on further to state that the point that Mr. Lin was making was that, hey, Mr. Court, Mr. Judge, I've already spent $100 million. You know, what now? That's basically what the article went on to say. And I'm going to actually put a link below for you to see it. So as a returning resident, as somebody who is looking to build on any property, I want to encourage you, get a building permit, right? Get your permit because it will assist you in saving a lot of money. Give you another example. In Dwerney Park, about in the year 2000 to 2006, there's a building that was approved, right? And the gentleman got an approval for 3 units. I'm wrong. For 3 bedrooms, and he added on 15. Most of the times, whenever I drive around, I can tell you if a building is not approved or not, or if they have a building permit or not. Because most of the times, what happens is that because they don't have a permit or a building plan done, they're now building, they're either building too close to the boundary, too close to power lines, hanging over the boundary into the road space, and that is very bad. Another reason why you should really consider getting your building permit is this. If you don't know, every city has a plan. Every country has a plan for that country, right? There's what is called a master plan, right? Now, the government can say to you at any point in time, hey, we are looking to widen this road, and as a result of that, your building has to be X distance from the center line of that road. And that is very important, and that is why you need to get your building approval or your building permit. Because when your drawing goes to the council, there is a master plan, and I would assume, I'm not sure I'm not 100% sure, I cannot say, but I would assume that your plans for that area has to come in line with the plans for the city. Now, why do I say that, or how do I know that? That's because there is a setback from the center line of the road to your building, right? So when you go and submit your document, if it is that you're X distance from this front or from the center line of the road, then you would be in line with the plan. So say the road is supposed to be widened by 6 feet, and you're now 15 feet away from that 6 feet. You're okay, right? Say you're now overhanging into that space, then you're going to have to knock off your building because you're not complying, right? And that in most cases, if it is that you breach the property, then that's a problem for you, because it now becomes your cost, right? And God forbid if you decide that you're going to build without a permit, and the government decides that, hey, we are issuing you a stop order, and not only are we issuing a stop order, we are ordering you to demolish the building because you have breached the restrictive covenant. If you do not do it, then the government has the power to come in and demolish the property, demolish the building for you, and put a lien on your property. And then when you're selling the property, that lien is against the property. So that means you cannot sell the property until those are paid off. Now, if you decide that you reaching a problem and you want to sell to somebody, and they come and see that, they're going to say, hey, you haven't paid off this lien, you have to pay it off before we pay for the property, or we will pay you for the property, but we're going to subtract the lien out of it. You understand? So that's the reason why you need your building permit. So I hope this episode was informative for you. I want to say thank you for watching, thank you for liking, thank you for sharing this video. And I didn't forget the giveaway. Give me 1 second. So Miss Faith M, right? When I go through my comments, I can see where Faith M has been active supporter of this channel from I was at 300 subscribers, right? So Faith M, whoever you have in Jamaica, I want you to just text me and I'll give them this for you, right? And it's courtesy of AJAWI TV. So thanks again, guys, for watching. Thanks for liking, thanks for sharing, and I'll see you next time. All right, peace out.